What's going on, guys? Zuko back with another War Within video. Hope you're all doing very well. We're on the PTR with the Feral Druid today, and we're going to talk about some of the big changes that are coming, particularly for the tier set bonus for Feral Druid, which is there's a really good change that's happening. Going to show you some footage of some of the dungeons I've been doing, some plus 10s on the PTR. We do have access to the new dungeons this week, which is really great. So if you're interested in looking at any of that, I will be doing videos on it. There's been some changes to basically every one of these dungeons since they first came out. And a lot of the mythic mechanics for like Dark Flame Cleft, for example, and Cinder Meteorite, like some of these mythic mechanics are really different now than what you're used to probably. So I'll be showing some of that in all the videos that are coming. Yo, I really appreciate it if you could like and subscribe on the video. I gotta get some coffee, bye. But today we're looking at Feral Druid and what has happened to their tier set bonus. Thankfully, their tier set bonus got buffed because it was like actually horrible, and they get Thrash now in the class tree upon reaching level 10, which is great. So you don't have to take Thrash anymore in the class tree. We'll talk about the changes to the class tree in just a second, but here's the big change. Undermine 4-set Big Winner deals direct damage equal to 800% of your attack power, was 250. So I laughed pretty hard at this. I think I saw this on stream, and I was laughing really hard because I'm like, if it started out at 250% and it had to go to 800, something's wrong, right? Like something went seriously wrong in the development of this. And in my opinion, it's actually still not good enough. It actually needs to go up more for this to be relevant. And I'll show you the damage. But this is not good enough, really. It should go to like 1200% or something, in my opinion, from 250. This is the bigger deal. Apex Predator increases the damage of your periodic effects by 16%, was 8%. So that's really good. And well, you can see it right here. Your spells have a chance to give you a winning streak, increasing the damage of your dots by up to 30%. So again, that also used to be lower. I think it used to be 1% up to 10 times, and now it's 3% up to 10 times. So your dots can get 30% stronger. And then when you consume Apex Predator's Craving, you get that Big Winner proc. And this is the 800% damage. It does 817,000 physical damage at 667 item level. So it doesn't even do 1,000,000 damage. And I mean, like, pretty, you know, end of season 2 gear, basically. So it's really not that good, but it does increase your dot damage by 16% for 6 seconds. So not terrible. But like, if you just look at the damage that it ends up doing, you can see the Big Winner damage down here. It did less than the throw dynamite damage when I was throwing dynamite at the final boss when we were on that the minecart chase. So they need to buff this more, I think. It's hard to evaluate how good this is completely because it's also buffing your dot damage, which is great, by 16%. So at least they buffed it. I still think it needs some love. In my opinion. Let's look at the class tree really quick. So there's been a lot of big changes to the class tree, including the addition of some talents like Symbiotic Relationship, which I have experimented with quite a bit now, and it's really cool. My only gripe with it is that if people die, like when you bond with an ally, if that ally dies or if you die, you have to redo it again, which is just really annoying. I don't know. It's just one of those things that's like, can we just have it stay permanently, please, for the whole dungeon? Like, why do I have to keep doing this? But anyway, it's kind of cool because you do a lot of self-healing as a Feral Druid, and that will go and heal your bonded partner. And then some of the stuff that you heal your bonded partner with will also bounce back and hit you. So nice little synergy there. They consolidated the magic damage, physical damage nodes that were on the tree, and they put them into a choice node, which is really good. I feel like you just have better access to some of the utility that you might want, even as a Feral Druid. So you can easily get Innervate. You can easily get Nature's Vigil now. Those were kind of buried before. I think Forest Walk is actually also really strong because you cast Regrowth all the time on yourself. You increase all your healing received and get a movement speed bonus. Like, that's actually a pretty cool talent in my opinion. So it's good. I think the tree is definitely set up better. Skull Bash is more central now. There's a lot of really good things going on here. Yeah, that's that. The spec tree, nothing has really changed at all for Feral. Unfortunately, it's really sad, but true. Now, in the footage that I'm going to show you, I was trying I was mostly trying Wildstalker. I understand that the build right now is Druid of the Claw. I totally get that. I just wanted to try Wildstalker because I enjoy it a lot more. And I wanted to see if I could make it work. One really quick thing I'm going to show you is that there's green arrows that are next to the health bars of the enemies. That means that I have a vine, a growth on that enemy, and therefore when I ferocious bite that enemy, it will detonate the vine. That's basically the entire gameplay loop of the Wildstalker Feral Druid is ferocious biting your vines. You have to do that. If you don't do that, you're gonna lose an enormous amount of AoE damage. So that's the gameplay loop that you're trying to do. You're trying to have an enemy targeted that has a vine on them, and then you're gonna want to ferocious bite that enemy all the time. That's kind of what you're looking at doing. But you can see here, for context, I will say as well, see this little web square on the top right? We are stuck at 629 item level. Like, it scales us down in this +10 to 629. So we're doing this much damage at 629 item level with the new tier set bonus. So it's actually really encouraging to me. That's really encouraging news. I think Feral actually is going to be pumping in these dungeons. Like, I'm doing some crazy AoE damage. Now, this is a really big AoE pack, and Cinderbrew Meadery in particular has a lot of AoE packs in it, like large AoE packs, which is great. It's going to be a really enjoyable dungeon. I think people are going to love this dungeon for that reason alone. But Feral's just good. Like, the damage here is actually pretty solid. I do end up dying there. I think the tank was, I don't know, I had an extra dot on me or something, but the damage is actually pretty solid. And with the build that I'm running here with Wildstalker, I think you could probably do more damage if you were running Druid of the Claw. I think that's probably true. I have another video with Druid of the Claw, and I don't know, I just don't enjoy it as much. I really enjoy this gameplay of trying to bite the vines. That's just me. So if you don't like that, that's fine. You can do Druid of the Claw and you'll probably do just as much damage or more, especially if you set up your like Berserk plus Convoke windows and put them together, and then you're triggering the new ability, right? You're triggering the Ravage inside the Convoke window. Very, very, very strong. So, but anyway, I like this build here. There's another, I'll do a full, this was a good run that we did, but we ended up dying a couple of times. So let me show you, this is the next one. We'll do the AoE pack one more time. So at the very beginning, I'll show you the AoE pack again. This is the same dungeon, but with a different group, slightly different group. Same tank and same healer, I think, but we got a different DPS. Or we just tried the dungeon again, I can't remember. But again, same opener, big damage, we get Bloodlust, and then we're just cranking. I forgot to actually apply Rip to everything, so like right away. I should have applied it before I convoked. So mistakes were made, and I will make lots of mistakes. You can see how many vines are there, though, with all the arrows. 1, 2, 3, 4 vines right now, doing a lot of extra damage, which is nice. Lots of targets to bite with Ferocious Bite, and you get that explosion of damage. Again, we're doing 5.5 million damage at 629 item level. I got to keep stressing that. It's lower than what the maximum item level is right now for the average person. So the damage is good, in my opinion. I think it's quite good. I'm going to quickly just show you this. This is the Druid of the Claw. I tried it on Druid of the Claw. This is only a +6 Priory of the Ancient Flame, but or Sacred Flame, sorry. But I do think that, let me know if you're a Feral Druid player. I would actually love to know how close you think Wildstalker is to Druid of the Claw, because Druid of the Claw, of course, is the primary hero talent that everybody's using right now. But I'm really like a Wildstalker lover, and I would just love to know, you guys who play this spec a lot, how close do you think they actually are? Because I think with the tier set bonus increasing the damage of your periodic effects, I think it's interesting. Obviously, both specs have periodic damage, right? Because when you press Ravage on all these enemies, you get that dot that goes on them as well. You can see it's right there, that little icon. You get the extra dot. So you're getting extra damage on that dot as well. Same with Wildstalker, but Wildstalker just has more dots more often. So I'm wondering if like the 16% damage bonus coming from the tier set might encourage you to play Wildstalker more. That would be kind of my thought process there, but maybe not. Either way, I think this tree is also very strong. Nothing wrong with it at all. I did notice, however, when I was doing the Berserk Convoke combo, and I didn't do it right here because that was just my fault, but I wasn't getting a lot of procs turning my Ferocious Bite into Ravage. So I was a little worried about that. I just thought it was supposed to proc more. I didn't feel like it actually procced that much. But either way, I think the damage is really good. Let me run you just through the other dungeon, though. This is the Wildstalker build once again. I just think it's good. There's a lot of AoE dot damage going on here. I'm staying alive as well. One thing that continuously impresses me about Feral Druid is their sustain. Like, the constant regrowths. You have the swarms on you, giving you healing as well. You have survival instincts and bark skin. Bark skin for Wildstalker gets the extra, it grows like flowers under your feet, which heals you every couple seconds as well. So there's a lot of sustain for Feral Druid, which I love. I just love that in a DPS. I love basically being able to take care of yourself and your health so that the healer doesn't really have to worry too much about you. That is a really enjoyable, to me, I just enjoy that a lot. We're clearing Trasher once again. Every pack in Cinderbrew Meadery is massive. It's usually 10 plus enemies. So you're like nearly uncapped AoE or fully uncapped AoE classes are gonna love this dungeon. They are gonna enjoy it so much. And I think Feral benefits enormously from these different packs because you can get resources. You can generate resources from all these enemies with your dots being on them, right? Especially the Apex Predator procs. That's what you're trying to generate, because consuming an Apex Predator proc is what triggers your tier set bonus. So very good to have multiple AoE packs here. We get a lot of Apex Predator procs right here on this pack. This is cool. So we get our dots going, get my rip going, and then I just get proc after watch my ferocious bite. It's just gonna proc once here, 1, and then 2. We do it again, and then there's a third proc here, 3. There's a fourth one, so there's 4, 5 procs right there. Boom. So that's, you know, that's the kind of gameplay you can get sometimes in these larger AoE packs, and you can capitalize on it and get a lot of damage. And your tier set bonus, of course, will be rolling, keeping all of your dots doing extra damage. And again, I will say the actual damage from when you consume Apex Predator and you get that big winner proc, I mean, it just is not doing enough still, in my opinion. I'm not sure what damage number they're hoping for, but by the end of the dungeon, like, it ends up being, you know, I think 3 or 4% of my damage. Maybe that's all they care about because it's also buffing your dot damage. Like, maybe they don't mind, Blizzard, but I just feel like if a part of your 4 set is a damage proc, it needs to be a lot. It needs to be more than that, I think. Otherwise, you're just going to feel bad. Moving to the next pack. This hallway is really dangerous in here. I'll just comment on Priory a little bit. There's the dot, there's this dispellable dot that gets put on people, and then there's this explosive brew. You got to deal with this brew, otherwise everybody's going to die when it goes off. So I come over here and give it a couple bites. Again, we get extra cleave damage from our ferocious bite, so it's very good for Feral. Focusing one target, getting cleave damage like Shadow Priest. Shadow Priest would be great in here, I think, for these kinds of moments. Although getting your dots onto the keg might be kind of hard, but you know what I'm saying. Any class that could kind of funnel like that, Enhancement Shaman might be really good for that as well. These guys that do this charge, Reckless Delivery, you need to try and charge them into a wall that's close to you. So he's fairly close there, but it would have been nice to have him slam into this wall right here so that we can continue to do damage to him. Right now, I think that guy was charging me, maybe. I might have messed that up, actually, but you don't want them charging really far away. That's going to seriously diminish your damage. So a little hint, just a tip for you guys, make sure that you're getting those guys to charge as close as you possibly can to the team. Otherwise, yeah, you'll be DPSing them forever. It'll take so long. I tucked this guy into the wall here. There we go. Boom. See that? I tucked him right into this wall, and then we can keep DPSing him. So that's kind of the strategy there. I'm going to move on to the next room. I think we all die here. Yep. This was a rough dungeon. It's just rough on a 10. Nobody's ready for kind of like any of this. We're working on it, but it's our first time being in here on this difficulty level, so it's quite a challenge. But we're doing big damage here. The rogue's going to catch up to us once he starts getting his dots rolling as well. Or not dots, sorry, he's the outlaw rogue. Outlaw rogue has been in a lot of keys that I've been running, and they've been slapping. So very cool to see that for them. This entire room you basically need to clear. It doesn't look like you need to clear it when you first walk in here because you're like, oh, we could just run over here and kill the boss in this area. But the boss will end up forcing you to use almost this entire room, in my opinion. So, yeah, I would be very careful. We just got multiple Apex Predator procs. Look at that. We get one right here. There's one. And then we use it here. There's one, and then we get a second one, use it right away. And then we get a third one. There's a third one right there. And then a fourth one right away. That's 4 free ferocious bites and 4 of the tier set procs that are doing about, I think in this dungeon, I said 800,000 at 666. This is 629 item level. So it's probably like 500,000 or 600,000 damage each. So it does add up over time, right? That's about 2 million extra damage that I did there. But considering I'm doing 287 million damage in total on that pull right there, adding an extra 2 to 3 million is nothing. Like, it's literally nothing, right? So I'm the proc needs to get buffed. It really needs to get buffed, in my opinion. I think it's just too low. Here's this boss fight. You basically don't want the boss to touch the ads. If the boss ever touches the ads, he gets a shield. So there's ads right there, little slimes. Do not let the slimes get to the boss or it's over. That one gets so close. And then the tank like runs away. Oh my god, I don't know how they don't actually hit him. So I focus down these slimes a little bit. We're doing good boss damage right now. And then you go back to the boss. We actually pull a reckless delivery guy at the same time. This was not intentional, I don't think. I think he was just patrolling around and we got unlucky. So now you beat up the boss right now, and then the slimes are going to respawn from wherever you kill them. So a very good strategy here is going to be killing the slimes all clumped up together, that you can just AoE nuke them down. What we end up doing here is not really good, because there's 2 slimes that are together, but there's a third slime off in the distance here, like way off in the distance. And then the slimes actually end up getting to the boss, and it does pulsing damage to us. You cannot let the slimes get to the boss. So very difficult fight. We're going to do it again. We decided to clear the rest of the room. You can see how many more mobs are in this room here. So very important that you just clear this entire room, honestly. Just do it. Just don't like think. I mean, there might be some really high level strategy eventually that allows you to not have to clear the room, but honestly, I would just do it. I would just do it. Doing damage here, 4 million. Remember, we're 629 item level. 629 item level. It's pretty good. Damage looks pretty good to me. Okay, we clear everything, then we do the boss again. Here comes the first set of slimes. Slimes are trying to get to the boss. We end up dealing with them. I'm just going to skip ahead here. I don't want to be here forever. But anyway, you kill the slimes, you kill the boss. That is the boss fight, okay? This is the second boss that you'll most likely fight. You don't have to go this way and fight this guy after the first boss. You have a choice, right? But everybody kind of always does go this way. I'm not really sure, you know, what to think about that, but you can go this way or you can go the way that we just went. Both doors are open once you kill this boss, so we'll see. We'll see what the meta ends up, like what the meta read is. Like, probably it's about when you get to use lust, right? When you get to best utilize bloodlust. And if you really need it on one boss versus the other, that's when you're going to want it, of course, right? So again, we're doing good AoE damage. Very, very good. Nothing wrong with this at all. We're going to skip ahead. These guys are really, some of these packs are really annoying. There's a kick you need to do. Not on this pack. This is just the, look at our damage here. Convoke is still so good, bro. 6 million. Just cranking damage. Awesome, awesome stuff. There's a cast that you need to do from, I think, the Jelly Purveyors called Honey Volley right there. Most important kick that you need to do in this whole dungeon, basically, is Honey Volley. If this thing goes off, it will slow you, like slow you by 80 or 90%. And then this big Knoll guy will do this beeswax ability, and that will, you'll be trying to get out of it, and you can't. So it's a nasty combo. You want to make sure you kick that. Move ahead here. Moving forward. Lots of AoE. Again, the AoE is just, there's so much AoE in this dungeon. It's wild, bro. It's just wild. One of our guys went offline there. Unfortunately, the rogue kept getting disconnected. Really unlucky for him. Then we move forward. I'll get to the next boss fight here. We actually do this boss fight wrong. This is called Bank Busby. We kill these ads first. Then we pull the boss. This is Bank Busby. He basically, he's going to spawn a bunch of bees. And the bees, you have to kill them, and then you get to ride them. And you need to ride them into the barrels that are on the ground. Okay. That is the strategy here. So there's barrels over there. You must make sure that you ride the bees into the barrels, or else you'll just get overwhelmed. So we end up ignoring the mechanic here for a while. We just ignore it, and we keep getting more and more bees coming in, and then we get essentially completely overwhelmed because we're supposed to, like, they wouldn't be spawning as much if these barrels were gone, but every time there's a barrel available, I think a bee spawns like every 5 seconds or something from the barrel. So we end up just getting way too many, and we get overwhelmed, and we end up dying. Look at them all. Look at them all. There's so many. So yeah, don't do this. This is what not to do. There's so many bees, bro. Okay, so we do it again. This time we kill the bees and then we ride them. There's one right there. I get on it. I ride him over here and I press Q. You don't actually have to get this close, but they fire in a line in front of you. So you can actually knock down multiple barrels at once with that little bee extra action button you get. That's what you have to do. That's the whole fight, literally. I think somebody does it here. So somebody gets on a bee right here. I get on a bee. Watch this guy. He's going to launch his bee right here. There, he jumps the bee right through both barrels. See that? That's what you need to be doing with your bee, okay? That's it. That's the whole fight, and do damage, yada, yada, okay? Last boss. These 4 guys, you need to single target these guys down, by the way. If you do AoE damage, once one of them dies, they all heal to almost full health. So, you need to do single target damage as best you can. That's the strategy here. I'm doing like some AoE damage just to get my resources generating, so I can get Apex Predator procs. But otherwise, I'm trying to do single target damage. This guy's gonna die right here, and everybody's gonna get healed to full. Boom. Everybody goes to full. So make sure you're doing single target damage. This last boss fight is pretty cool. Again, there are barrels of like exploding honey. Now there are big barrels with lights like shining down on them, and there are small barrels. Whenever you destroy a big barrel, it puts a dot on everybody. Okay? You basically can't destroy 2 big barrels at the same time. I don't know why I walked into that. If you destroy 2 big barrels at the same time, you'll get 2 dots and everybody will die. Okay? If you don't destroy any of the big barrels, they will detonate on their own. And then you're dead for sure. So there's a strat you got to do here. Basically, the tank, I believe, has the easiest job, not the easiest job, the easiest way of destroying multiple barrels at the same time. So he's going to aim his frontal over here, and it's going to destroy all those barrels, which is going to send out waves. If you get hit by any of the waves, you will literally die. You can't get hit by a single wave, okay? But then again, you want to destroy one of these bigger barrels at a time. You don't want 2 at a time, or you're in big trouble. Okay? You can see the dot on all of us right now. Very dangerous. Okay? This is the whole fight, is managing these barrels. Make sure you do this right, and you'll be good to go. Eventually, she's going to jump up onto the her table there and start shooting everybody. Any barrels that are left over right now, she will detonate in this phase. And then you might be in big trouble. Like, if you've left a couple of barrels that you shouldn't have left, if you know, then you're literally going to die. So that's the whole fight. It's a very, very cool fight, actually. Now you can see the overall damage underneath here. The Ali Shaman did 2.57 million. The Rogue doing 2.36 million. Me doing 2.17. Before we got to this fight, there was a couple of deaths, I think, that I had. And I think the overall number changes. Yeah, this is a little bit more accurate. I would say 2.23 million from me overall. Okay, so we'll get to the final numbers here at the end of the boss fight. We fast forward. There we go. This is basically my overall numbers. And they were, we're pretty close, but it's Rip, Rampant Ferocity, Ferocious Bite, Rake, Brutal Slash, Bursting Growth. That's when I Ferocious Bite one of the vines, right? And then the Bloodseeker Vine, Adaptive Swarm, Frenzied Assault. See how the big winner is the proc of damage that they just buffed to 800%. It's still only doing 2.4% of my overall damage. Like, I think that needs to be like 5% of my overall damage. Like, seriously, I think they need to double it again. They should send it up to like 1,500% of or instead of 800%, or go to like 1200% or something. It needs to go way higher than what it is. It is still way too low, in my opinion, for a proc from a 4 set. Like, that just feels, I don't know. It just feels completely wrong that it's that low. Okay. So that's the overall damage. That's my impression of Feral Druid. Honestly, I mean, I really like this build. I still want to hear what you guys think, though. If Druid of the Claw is just always going to be better than Wildstalker, or if you think that some of the new tier set bonus buffs are going to help Wildstalker come into the light, getting the 16% increased periodic effect damage, that's pretty good. So let me know what you guys think in the comments down below about Feral in general. I think it's actually looking fine. Like, the overall damage to me seemed completely fine. And I was keeping up with the other guys. There were multiple times where, like, I was in the lead and then they were in the lead, and it felt like, it just felt good. It felt like I had some great moments in the dungeon, and I'd love to hear what you guys think about Feral in general moving into season 2. All right, let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Thank you so much for watching. Love y'all. See you in the next one.